Hello friends and welcome back. I'm Enterprise Architecture. We are back here playing more Snacktorio. You know what this game is. If you haven't figured it out already, well, go back and watch the previous couple of episodes. We've been playing a lot of it lately. We completed level 1-4 already here, so we are on to 1-5. We are not going to worry about the bonus levels just quite yet. We're going to dive into a 3-course meal. This should be an exciting challenge for us. What have we got? Big one on the cards for us today, a 3-course meal. The beast will have 3 orders for us to take, one after the other. You need to maintain all 3 to get your star. When you're ready, take their first order and we can get things cooking. All right, let's go into photo mode real quick here. Also, let's look at the map. What do we have here? There's our monster. There is oil. Okay, some sort of a cave here with coal in it. Item pipes are already going down there. This seems to be some sort of a mysterious place, maybe an old abandoned area. Back to photo mode. Let's go all the way up to the top here and see what there is to see. Whoa. It looks like a lot of the scaffolding has already been made here for us. We have salt over here. We have resin here. We have something. Oh, this is where it was manufacturing our items for us. So that's going to need to be put together. Coal to power this, oil here, and our shrooms. More coal for power. That's not a bad layout. We can work with that. We have some items we're about to get. Down here, we have some corruption that seems to be taking over this facility. There's our void that we're going to need to mine. Oh, and here's our secret star, which we get to up, through, around, down, and then through this. That seems to be the way to do this, but it looks like... How are we going to get here? Because we can't place ladders here, right? It's not going to let us do that? That's going to be interesting for us. We're going to have to figure this out. Just hold return for 5 seconds. Okay, that's good to know. Maybe we can dive down here quickly and get into this. I don't know how fast the void will kill us, though. So that's going to have to be something we think about. Oh, and there's the springboard. That'll get us back up and out. All right, yeah. So I think we go diving to get that one. Okay, maybe we try for that to start and see what happens. All right, let's start going. Let's get to our items first. Thank you for those. 999 of all of those. That'll make it real easy for us. Here, past this, we don't need to take that scaffolding at this point. We have more than we need. Okay, I wonder how quickly we can make it through this. That worked. All right, so now we're back up here. That's our star for us. And then in theory, let's go to photo mode again. Can I get down and out there? Yeah, I should be able to get down and out there. Okay, just like that. Perfect. All right, so we have our Witchland star, our secret one. That's good. Now we can actually do the real questing. So I think what we'll need to do is go find the monster and figure out what the beast wants to eat. Okay, here we are. So hungry, I need food. You need chip and rip. Chip and dip. Okay, check your cookbook for the recipes. We'll be baking raw tortillas into tortillas and then fry them to make crunchy gorditos. There's not much supplies on this part of Pomora. The imp started making some fabricators over to the east, but you'll need to finish setting them up and turn on the power. With the beast surrounded by corruption, we won't be able to use the pools of void it's sitting in, but there should be an old factory to the southeast. We already found that. Okay, great. Cool. And we're using conveyor belts this time. We didn't get to use much of those in the past. Let's see here. Let's take the bailiff. That might be handy for us. Here's some more bailiff. We're probably going to want to grow some. Interesting. Maybe we see what's down here. Photo mode, oil. Okay, yeah, we don't want to just drop in on this oil. That's going to be a bad time for us. So let's turn off photo mode. Maybe we can climb down safely. Okay, here's some oil. Just get this all framed out. All right, now we are safe. I'm going to grab up some of the shrooms real fast so that we can grow those when we get around to that. Okay, there's 10 of those. That should be enough for us, I think. Always grab up the spores when you see them because you know you're probably going to need them at some point. All right, so the monster is that way. What is the actual recipe for this? Chip and rip. We need bone flour, so we need void and probably bailiff would be good. And then we fry that to make the tortillas. Oh, we mix it with oil. We don't fry it. Huh. That's fascinating. Then we use the oven to bake it. Okay. Then we fry that to get the gorritos. Okay. And then we make tomato sauce with tomato sauce and salt. Okay, great. So I think what we're going to do this time around is we are going to use sort of a main bus system because I think that worked out well for us in the past. So the first thing that springs to mind here is we're going to need our oil for this to make it, and then an oven, and then we put it back in the oil. So maybe we do our oven stuff down here. We do not have any power cables yet. That's interesting. So we are going to have to make power cables. That's going to be one of the first things we need to do. Let's see here. Here's some cables going this way. Here's our power going this way. I guess the best way to do this is to just start by hand mining up some coal. All right, let's do this. And then here we can put half in. And then we can put half in here. And that should start lighting everything up. That should then also put the pieces into here. And you're getting some, and you're getting some. Yeah, okay, so our power production is now up and online. We need to get our fabricators up and online next so that we can start making up our tools. Iron is coming in and being smelted. I think we're going to need that resin probably. What recipes do you think you want to make? Item pipe, wire, and fluid pipe. Okay, so this needs glass and rubber. And there's glass coming in. Oh, but we're missing the item pipes here to be able to fill that in. So let's see if this doesn't start giving us item pipes. Oh, because I haven't told it what to do with these. Okay, right. We're going to use the trick that we learned before. We're going to put some in our hands so that we can continue to configure these. The first two are going to need iron, so both of those are going to get left. That also means the top of this should also send out some iron, so up and over for that. The glass, on the other hand, needs to go in the first one and the last one. So we do half of our glass here, and we're going to put up and down. And then this one also takes glass out. And then this one also sends glass down. Oh, and we forgot that this needs, our rubber. We don't have our rubber yet, right? This is rubber. This is also rubber. Okay. So this should at least start making our item pipes for us. Good. That's a few, but we need way more than that. All right, let's get started with 56. That should be a good place to begin our journey. We can bring our resin over here. This needs to be cooked though. So let's turn this into our rubber. If we get an oven, is this correct? Yeah, that's making our rubber for us. Okay, great. So let's send that through this side. That should then collect with those pipes. And now over here, we should be getting rubber in momentarily. All right, there's our first rubber. Let's make sure we have some of that. We're going to send some of it over, some of it down, just like that. This one, we are going to send the rest of that rubber out. And that should then start being able to make up our rubber for us here into wires. Yep, here it comes. And here comes our first wires. Great. Wires there. Why are you all hard to get to. There we go. Okay, so that's coming along nicely for us. You know what? I might just break these real quick and put a ladder up to make it a little simpler. Perfect. Okay, so we have items. We need to hang out for a little while longer because we're going to need a lot more cables, I suspect, to be able to get what we need done. We'll wait until our wire is up to a sufficient level, and then we can start digging in on this next quest. All right, so back here up top, we have a bunch of tomatoes, and I'm going to go ahead and break some of this dirt so that we have it so that we can use it. And then I'm also going to start running our power cables over here towards where we have this drill so that we will have, when we're ready, our salt ready to go. There we go. Okay, salt is starting to come together. Is there anything else we are going to need up here? Oh, peppa plant. Okay, I didn't even know peppa plants existed, so we are definitely going to have to think about you. Let's go ahead and start putting in place some ladders so that we can get to that peppa plant. Okay, let's see here. Peppa plant. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we can pick them up. All of these little imps are kind of just in the way, unfortunately, and I don't love that about it. Let's put one more here. Okay, great. And now we can start putting up some harvesters. Let's do harvester. We will bring our power up and over. Now, I know we don't need this yet. I'm perfectly well aware that this is not a thing that we have to have, but we are going to want to set ourselves up for the future. So let's do that. All right, so salt is going to come in that way. Peppa plants are going to come in from there. These are going to go this way. And let's keep going this way with these. And then maybe we tie them into our main bus over here, or we could create a separate bus. Let's take a look at our photo mode real quick again and see where everything is coming in. We've got a bunch of water there that we're inevitably going to have to deal with. More peppa plants. Yeah, I think maybe what we do is we just fire everything into one bus here. And then as we go, if we need to, we can start carving out a much bigger factory area. So let's do that for ourselves. This will go in here, but we are going to want to start putting in some sorters pretty soon here. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do that just to save us a little bit of time and trouble. And this is all going to go into this bus. And we will need to tell this that the peppa plants need to go down. The salt will need to go down. All of our ingredients will need to go down once we get those. Let's see here. We'll just wait a second until those come in. Right, we grab up our salt again. Let's put our ingredients down here so that we can easily sort. Peppa plant. Perfect. Okay, so these need to know salt should go down. Peppas should go down. Okay, that's good. Same thing here. Peppa down, salt down, and you are peppa down, salt down. Okay, so those are going to go out that way. This so far is only sending items in this direction. We probably only want to send items in that direction. Let's do this. That should work there. And then probably here is where we want to put our next sorter. So let's do a sorter here. And then we can start telling this to send iron up. But we don't really want to do anything with the salt or the peppa plants yet. I know they're going to go down. There's no chance that they don't go down. So let's just assume they will go down. And actually, let's put that back. I always forget that we can put pipes through things. Okay. So those are coming down this way. And now, let's see here. This oil is actually pretty close by. But we need the void for our chips. So we probably should go make the chips and the bone and all of that somewhere over there. But generally our paradigm has been we want to do central buses for all of the things. So maybe what we do is we actually use our void here and route everything over to that oil. Although we have oil right here too. It's a tough question. It's a very tough question. I don't think it really is going to be critical either way. So I think what we do is we set up a little bailiff farm here. We go up here and we do a little tomato farm up here. And then we make our bone come in off of this void stuff here. And I suspect we're going to be creating multiple items off of our void. So we may as well wire this up and dig ourselves out a big chamber to be able to start making those other items. Again, we need 3 different dishes, so I suspect we are going to want more room to play. All right, while we're doing stuff, let's also make sure that we go ahead and connect our power up to our water pump. I know that it's going to require water of us at some point in the future. And so we want to make sure that there we go, are actually getting our water to places that it needs to be. So let's do that real fast. And I think, yeah, that's just bringing it down here. Okay, wonderful. So now we know that water is indeed coming in. Let me just get a little bit more dirt. I'm a little paranoid about how much dirt we're going to need for this. We've got our void over this way. So let's make ourselves up a bailiff farm real quick. And that means building ourselves up a nice flat area. There we go, with some ladders so that we can get out. And now we need to bring our power over. I went and grabbed up some more power cables, so that should be easy for us. Let's just bring this straight down here. There we go. And now we can put down some bailiffs. Oh, that's the wrong one. Not that. Not that. We want this one. Okay, and now we're going to need probably a couple of harvesters. So let's go ahead and put 1, 2, 3. Let's do that for now. Now, those are going to give us our bailiffs out, and we're going to put that into a main bus system here. So let's just tell these all to go the right direction. Perfect. And now I'm going to do a little bit of advanced planning here and go ahead and make sure that we're putting a sorter down early because I know that we're going to need it. Our void we now need to connect up. So let's make sure that we have some power pipes going this way. And break the ones that I put in a bad spot. And these should come down here. Just keep coming with me. Oh. This void is unavailable to us. Huh. Okay, that's going to be a problem. Where is some void we can get to? Coal. Huh. If we can't power these, we can't get it out. Maybe there's another source of power here? Oh, there is another source of power here. And that means all we have to do is put pumps down. Okay, that's wonderful. I was really worried there for a second that we would not be able to get those out. Let's put a pump here. Let's put a pump here. Great. That should now be pumping void for us. All right, so let's start working on our bus here that I think is going to end up taking place. So we're going to clear out a little bit more of this cave roof. And then I'm going to bring that item pipe down and over so we can start doing stuff with it over here. Again, any single extra item that we have, it doesn't matter what we give it, we can then use and combine with void to start making other items. So that's going to be the gist of what we want to do here. So we want to put down one of our matter manipulators. Let's see here. We want to do a matter manipulator, grinder, blender, chef-o-matic. It's not one of those. There we go, matter manipulator. Okay, we'll take that. This is going to want bailiffs, so we need to tell this, send me some bailiffs this way right now. So the matter manipulator is kind of annoying because it's going to go ahead and start making items even before I am ready for it to be making items. So we're going to do this little pattern here where we give it a little loop. And in this case, I actually want to switch these inputs just for my own wanting to keep things clean and neat. We are going to tell this that we want bailiffs to go down. And so this is going to send bailiffs into our system here. And then junk that we don't need, like void sludge, will get collected here. Do we have a trash can of any sort? I don't know that there is a trash can machine. Storage box. I guess we could just throw it into a storage box, but honestly, that already is a storage box, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, so void sludge, we won't want to do anything with, is going to go here. The only thing this is missing is that it needs a recipe. So it's telling us we can make both lich bones and spider eggs. I suspect that means that we are going to end up making both lich bones and spider eggs. That also means that we might want to clean up our patterns here and make this be a little bit more clean and elegant. And now, yeah, so I know that we're going to want spider eggs. There's no question that we're not going to want spider eggs. So we probably should actually clean this up a little bit here. Let's do, this goes in, this goes out, right? And then let's put another one down here. And this is a matter manipulator. We just learned this. This goes here. And now we can tell this that we want to split. Okay, there we go. We finally got that working. So we should split inputs. We should split outputs now. This should go into each of these. Is that going to work for us? Bailiffs go in, and let's just go ahead and tell this one that we don't want this. We want spider eggs, right? Because we know that we're going to need spider eggs from this. There's no way that they're giving us this recipe, and we're not going to need it. So in this case, the spider eggs need to come out. The lich bones need to come out. Those are going to go north. And here, you know what? One thing that we can do is just literally provide more raw material. And that raw material can be void sludge. Like, we don't actually care. We can recycle void sludge. So what we could do is literally push void sludge back into these systems. Why aren't you going this way? Why aren't you going this way? Okay, let me redo this real quick so that it makes a little more sense. Okay, this should work a little bit more elegantly for us. Now we have spider eggs being made here. We have our lich bones being made here, and those are going to get dumped into this system. Then your outputs are coming off this side, which is not connecting up because the pipes are directional. And that's going to go into this system. And then you can see here, bailiffs are going to get thrown back down. But if for any reason it makes void sludge because we run out of ingredients, it's going to push that back into the system, which then gets used to make more of whatever ingredient it is. So that will be a nice little loop for us, and we can recycle our garbage that comes back out. That should work really well. That's now going to come and get collected into this system, as you can see here. And that means we are ready to now make flour. So flour, of course, is just our bone flour, which we make in a grinder. So let's go ahead and start making up some bone flour. Maybe we do that. You know what? Honestly, I feel like we only ever make lich bones into flour, but there might be something that we don't know. So maybe we come right off of this, or better yet, we leave that and we come off of this. And we do bones here into flour. Let's see here. There's our grinder. Let's put that into place there. We'll put this here. This is actually going to get an input. We'll do that. Let's tell this that we always want it to go up. And now we can go up and over back into this. Whoa, no. You're doing the wrong thing. Up. Always go. No, it isn't always going up, is it? We want this to always go in. Yeah. That's what we want. Okay, great. So grinder should then get our lich bones. Let's tell our lich bones that they always have to go left. Cool. All right, so this will go back into this system. These are accumulating here, which is not where we want them, but that's fine. Let's put the rest of those here. And this isn't getting power yet. So let's make sure that we are getting power to our network. Great. And now flour should start to flow up and into this system. It should always go left, right? We might want to take a little bit of it and make sure that we store it in this network to say, if you accidentally get flour, make sure that you know where it goes. So let's do that real fast here. There's some flour. Take this one. If you get flour for whatever reason, send that up. Okay, so flour is going into here. It doesn't know what to do with it yet. Now we can combine our flour with our oil. So our oil, as we learned, is down here, but we're also going to need this for frying. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and put in a pump. That is the wrong thing. Let's go ahead and run this up. to here. And now we can bring our power down as well. There is our power. I think it went into that last block. I can't really see it, but I believe that's there. And power needs to come over this way too. So let's see here. Let's just bring you over from here, right behind our platforms. There we go. Okay, if this is good, we should see that it is getting oil in. It is getting oil in. That's great. And now we will use the mixer with our flour that should be coming into this system to put some stuff together. And maybe we just dig ourselves a tunnel. There we go. And now we can build ourselves a nice little logistics tunnel through here. All right, so flour goes left. That will come into this logistics network. We will continue our flour through here. And what we really want to do is make sure that we have some sort of a sorter here that we can start configuring all of this stuff too. I know I'm putting down more sorters than are strictly necessary, but I think that that's really going to pay off in the long run because that will help us to be able to sort things out a little bit faster. That's why they're called sorters, right? Right? Okay, so let's go ahead and put a item mixer here. There's a mixer. We are going to tell it that we want to put some power in there. And we need to give it a recipe, tortillas. This is going to be this recipe. Oil is coming in. We're just waiting on flour. This needs to know that flour goes left. Flour will go left. That's going to go into our mixer. And then this needs to go into a fryer. So let's see here. Actually, do we bake it first? Tortilla into an oven. Oven goes into the fryer. Okay, so from here, let's go a little further away. I think this is a fine place to put our oven because this gives us enough room to put some logistics pipes in between. We're going to break these pipes because I think that they're just in the way for right now. Let's put these here. Let's reverse our order. There we go. And then let's check on the recipe for our fryer. That's the only thing I don't remember here. The fryer. Oh, this does take oil in. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, not that. Let's do this. And then we'll do this. And then that should give us our fried tortillas momentarily. Yeah. Oh, Gorritos, excuse me. So, Gorritos are coming in. So the last thing that we are missing here is going to be our tomato sauce, and some salt. So let's make sure that salt is flowing through this pipe as well. And where was our salt coming in? I think our salt was coming in from above. So let's go ahead and make sure that that salt is being thrown down into this system here. Yeah, here comes our salt. Okay, so let's connect you up. And actually, let's bring you straight into this main bus. Okay, and so the other thing that we need to do here is tell it now that bailiffs should also go left. So now you are responsible for bailiffs. You're responsible for salt. These are all coming together into our system here. And then this sorter here, we can start dealing with the rest of that. Let's go ahead and break all of this. And as I said before, I think we're going to put a little tomato farm like up here in the sky. I think that's going to be a good place for it. Okay, so we're running out of those particular platforms. We can use these other platforms here, and I think this will be a fine place to put in our tomatoes. Let's grab up our grass. That's what we need. And we can put this, actually, let's go ahead and put it here where we've got these platforms. I think grass will go even better. Now we can put our tomatoes down. And now we can put our harvesters down. Harvester. Yeah. Okay, that's going to need power. We can do that from our power line. Great. So that's going to get tomatoes now. Tomatoes and our bailiffs will get combined here. Into some sort of a thing here. Let's go ahead and put down some more sorters because I think that we're going to need them. Can't have too many sorters, friends, and sorters are effectively free, so use them liberally. All right, you bailiff up. Okay, so bailiffs are going up, tomatoes are going here. Now we should be able to put those into the blender to be able to make our tomato sauce. So let's go ahead and do that maybe up here. Yeah, let's do it up here. Blender goes there. Power to the blender goes here. Item pipes go here. This needs to know tomato, bailiff. It really should be basil, not bay leaf. I don't know why they did that, but I'm sure there was a reason. They know better than me. Okay. Tomato sauce is going here. Fryer's going here. Salt is going here. So now what we have to do is get our salt over to all of this contraption. Again, how do we do that? Sorters. Of course we're going to use a sorter for that. Why wouldn't we use a sorter? We can do the same thing we did before here. Just needs to know this goes up. Let's also tell it that salt goes up. And we're going to also take this salt and start putting this up. No. Salt needs to go up. Wrong ingredient. Well, that will go into the mixer here and we can pull that out. There we go. No problem. Okay, so salt is coming to here. And now we just need to combine all of those things, the tomato sauce, etc. And that is in a Chef-O-Matic. So maybe we put the Chef-O-Matic like right over here. And let's see here. That is this one, Chef-O-Matic. So we are going to combine those ingredients through this. Tell that to go in here. And then we're going to bring our tomato sauce down as well. Okay, you all are going the wrong way. Let's fix that real quick. And this, if they do get bounced back, just send the tortillas back left. We know better. Salt also should go left. Cool. All right. So that should go this way. That should go this way. Salt is going left here. Great. And then power. The only thing we are missing here is power. Make, chip, and rip. Rip and tear. Great. Got that done out here. And now this is going to go onto this conveyor belt. This is going to come along this way. And then it should go right to our monster. All right, our monster is now getting fed. All we have to do is wait until a few more of these appetizers come in. You know, I just had some chips and salsa not too long ago this evening myself. It was delicious at one of my favorite little Mexican restaurants. This is also going well for our monster and getting something very, very similar here. What will you want next? Are you going to have the fajitas like I did? I don't know that you're going to... Oh! Well, it looks like I did not have the fajitas. I forgot that I can't stand right in front of a void. That is certainly a problem. Let me go collect up all of our wonderful items that are now on the ground. Give me those. Okay, so that was enough to soothe our monster. What do you want next? Huevos rancheros. Okay, we're going to accept that. Another tortilla-based dish. This time, instead of frying them, we're going to just use the cooked tortilla this time and other ingredients. Okay, so we might need to increase our tortilla production, is what we are being told. That's going to be easy enough for us. These conveyor belts are great. I really love conveyor belts, but we do need to rethink our overall tortilla setup here. Part of that is that our fryer is using most of them. So what we might want to do here is, I'm assuming this is going to use cooked tortillas. Is that not right? A raw tortilla to make tortillas. tomato paste this time. So we're gonna have to dig up this nutmeg that we see right here. Eggs in oil to get fried eggs. That's easy enough for us. And then the tortillas into a mixer. Okay, we can do all of that really quick. Let me refactor this real fast so that we have a little bit more access to our tortillas, and maybe our tortillas then get split back into the rest of the system. All right, we got that refactored a little bit. That's good for us. Let's see about going ahead and digging down so that we can get this nutmeg real fast. Okay, we're gonna need to clear ourselves up enough room to be able to move around with our logistics per usual. Okay, let's put in a drill. I don't know that we're really gonna need more than one drill. What I do know for a fact though is that we are running short on imps. That is gonna be something that we are gonna have to reckon with very, very rapidly here. That means that we need to get some salt, which we have plenty of salt on hand. We're gonna combine that with some water from the pump all the way at the top. And our imps that we have here, we have 11 spores. That should be enough to get us started. Maybe we grow a few more here because we can't have more than 99. With 11, we're already going to be at 55. All right, here we are back up top. I figure like this is a perfectly good spot to start putting down our fermenters. So let's go ahead and grab those up. There's a fermenter. That's going to use 2 of our very precious remaining few imps. We'll bring the water over to this. That'll give us that. Let's tell it that we want to make fermented imps. And we are going to give this, let's do, 20 is going to be pretty much as many as we could possibly use right now. Let's put 20 of those. And now you need 20 salt. I have hundreds of salt, but 20 is all I really want. Okay, put that in there. These are going to cook for us as soon as we give it power. There's power. And let's hang out until our many imps are done. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the 40 that we have here. That should be plenty for us. We should be able to go ahead and grow those into 44 more imps. I thought that that was a better recipe than that, but I guess not. No biggie. Okay, so one thing that springs to mind here is that I think we're going to run out of power soon. So let's go double check our power setup here. This could be way more efficient. So what we're going to do is dig all of this up and start setting up a more massive system for our power. All right, here's the halfway point. We have now 24 power machines, furnaces, and that means we need to get 12 pieces of coal going into here. So let me cut all of this down and put it all back. Okay, and there is our revisited power facility with everything working properly. Now that we have all 12 of our drills online, 24 of our power machines can go. It's going to take a little while for the system to back up enough that all of these are on 100% of the time. We could just throw down some extra miners and make that go a little bit faster for us. Just like that. Oh, and now I am caught. And this won't cost us that much more power to run it, but it will just give us that much faster of a system. Let's do this. There we go. Okay, this should all start working properly now. So now we can work on the main quest here. We can go back to making and mining up our nutmeg to make this tomato paste. So let's go back over here, make sure our tomatoes are getting merged properly. And let's see here. Here's tomatoes. Let's put another another harvester into place, just like that, now that we don't have to worry about power. Our nutmeg is just being mined. So a nutmeg is a terrible thing to mine. Let's put in place another machine here. This is going to be another sorter, just like that. And per usual, we just need to tell it everything goes left. Yeah, so I think the hardest part of this at this point is going to be to like get all of our things into a space that we can actually start using them. So we do have some space right here where we could start putting together mixers and whatnot. We can send some tomatoes down this way and back into here and then bounce them back out of the mixers the other way. That could be one way to do it. The other way would be we could bring our tomatoes earlier into our bus. Right? There's no reason that the tomatoes have to go in right here. We could just route them through this whole system. So if we did it that way, then they only need to be available at this point. So let's go ahead and bring them back all the way this way, just like this, and into this point here. And now we can break these And tomatoes will go back in here. And then we just need to tell this that we want our nutmeg to go somewhere. So if our tomatoes are all the way back here, there's no reason that we can't make our tomato paste over here too. So let's do it as early as possible by putting it like right here with a mixer. There we go. Let's break this. We don't need that. There's our mixer. And now we just need to tell it that this needs a sorter as well. So sort you to the left for tomatoes, and then those can go in here. Let's do another sorter in place right here. There we go. And this one we can also make sense of by doing this, this, this. And then we need to flip that input. There we go. And then last but not least, we just need to tell this, actually send the nutmeg back the other way. And then this one will send the nutmeg up. Just like that. And this just needs power, which we can actually start cutting our main line over a little bit further. There. Make tomato paste. Good. And now when this outputs, I'm going to stick it back into our system here so that it continues through this path. Up, up, over, and then just like make sure that this knows to go down. There. Okay, so nutmeg, tomato paste, this should go out here and then rotate back into here. And then that can be stuck into our main bus here. So that's now ready. So tomato paste is done. We have tortillas ready to go. Spider eggs, we just need to fry. So we've been getting spider eggs in all the way over here. We've got oil all the way over here, so there's no reason that we couldn't bring our oil over here and do more frying elsewhere. Let's see here. That's the mixer. This is the fryer. I kind of wish I'd kept all of my frying a little lower, but we have plenty of oil to go around. So maybe I'll put my fryer like up in here. Up in here. And then that can route into this. Yeah. I think that's the way to do this. Bring all of my various ingredients back this way for cooking that up. So our next Chef-O-Matic recipe is not going to need any liquids, so we may as well put that Chef-O-Matic for the final output here and bring all of our various food items for that into this bus here. So we will need to put another sorter right here. There's our sorter. All right, so let's finally bring our eggs out of storage here. While we are at it, we're going to start bringing our peppers out of storage here. We are running out of room in this sorter, so that's going to be something that we are going to have to figure out. We could probably remove this sorter and just send some bailiffs this way and some bailiffs that way, and then not need this sorter at all. But we will deal with that when we get to it. Okay, so same thing here. We are going to need to send everything left. Everything goes left. Yeah, and now we are completely maxed out on this one. Okay, an alternative path here would be to bring my nutmeg up and over this way, and then we don't need a sorter here because this one is capped. That might be something to think about, but now we're right back to this one. Okay, I think this is the pattern that's going to work for us here. We are now using a catch-all for all of the ingredients that we want to send in the other direction. So here we know that the only thing that's going to go against the main bus direction is going to be our nutmeg. So that's going to go this way. So otherwise, everything else needs to go left. The bailiff situation is pretty similar, where we only want bailiff to go right. But because of the way that we've got this set up, we do want to make sure that some bailiff is coming back into the system to mix with the tomato, which means in this case, we do want to route just some of this into this pipe that goes back out. All right, so progress is being made here at this point. We now have most of our things going where they need to be going. Let's fix the Chef-O-Matic input here. We still need a couple of ingredients for this. So our spider eggs should be accumulating somewhere this direction. Why aren't you going where you need to go? It's like you're stopping right here. even though this historically has been working for us. All right, we separate out our bailiffs here so that they'll go in at a lower point. That is helping to get us into a unidirectional bus. That's what we like to do as much as possible. That will make this go a lot smoother. Now all we have to do is go and grab our eggs up for wherever our eggs have been caught. I assume, yeah, there's our eggs. Okay, so eggs need to be fried. So we are going to need to take some oil from the fryer here. Do we only have the one pump? Let's go ahead and make one more pump real fast. And we'll just make sure that that is indeed getting what it needs. Oh, but these are not getting power anymore. We seem to have broken one of the critical power pipes. Oh, and I see exactly when I did that too. Okay, that's to be expected. This will go here. That's all connected now. That's all connected now. That's all connected now. Okay, great. All of that's going. So with our oil here, we should be able to pipe our oil over to another fryer to be able to do the frying of the eggs. So our eggs will come in here. So let's get our fryer going. Fryer, let's put you here. I think that's going to be fine for you. And then we'll just need to sort our eggs out that way. Or you know what we can literally do is we could just move our eggs down here and then we could loop it back into our system. That might be even smarter. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, we'll just run some nice little platforms there and then fryer here, right? Fryer will need some power off of our main pipe there. It's going to need some fluid. And now tell this thing, like, send your eggs down and we'll put an item pipe there. All right, so that's going to do fried eggs for us. And then fried eggs are going to flow back into our system, which of course we use by doing this. There we go. And now that loops back into a previous point, and that means our pipes are still flowing only in one direction. All right, so are you getting eggs yet? No, because you do not know to do eggs yet. Okay, fried eggs are coming out. That's what we like to see. Are we missing any other ingredients for this recipe yet? Fried egg, tomato pasta, tortilla, and our peppers. So peppers need to go up. We'll do that. Fried eggs need to go up. Basically, this is our catch-all now, right? Everything going up? All right, so everything goes up. And then here, we have this chef-o-matic, which we know needs eggs, peppers, and tomato paste. So are we getting tomato paste? Yeah. You go here, you go here, you go here. I think this is now going to become our catch-all next. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Last 4 ingredients coming in. Yes, yes, and yes. Perfect. That's going to get everything it needs. And then the output of that is also going to go into the output bus. And there comes our second food. You can see it's coming in right now. That's what we want to see. Okay, so that's 2 out of 3. What do you want now? Chilikillers. Okay. Let's see here. What changes for this one? Okay, so we need tortillas again. We've done that. We want gorditos again. So we've got those. We need scrambled spider eggs this time instead of fried. And then we mix all of those ingredients back in. Okay, so it's very similar to what we've already done. We may have just made ourselves a little bit more of a problem because everything is tightly packed now at the end of our processing line. But I think with some clever play on this, we should be able to get these ingredients where they need to go. So what we need to do probably first is to put another sorter in place right here. Let's grab that up. And then we need to make sure that we are getting our pipes over here. Oh, our tomato sauce pipe. Yeah, that's still working. Okay, all of this is working. Make sure that you know these go left, these go left. And are we just literally using gorditos again? Yeah, so we can take a lot of our finished ingredients here and just start piping them where we need to go. Literally, the scrambled spider eggs are the only thing that we haven't done yet. And I think we have everything we need to do to make those. So instead of frying the spider's eggs here, we should be able to have an option to mix them with some salt as well. this is going to be a little tricksy because we do want to split the spider eggs across 2 different routes. So maybe what we do is actually do a sorter here and then a separate sorter also next to it, and then that goes back into this system. That might be how this has to work. Let me carve out a little more space, and then we will be ready for this. Okay, we're still trying to develop some of our patterns that we're going to be reusing here over and over again. Since we need salt in 2 places, including further down our bus, I'm basically doing a workaround here where this has a catch-all that extracts salt to go up and just passes over our next sorter entirely. Meanwhile, extra salt is getting pushed down so that this can go into whatever device we come up with here. So let's put this here. This is going to send spider eggs right and down, and then this is going to collect the other thing. So what are we doing? Is it the mixer that we put the scrambled eggs in? I'm pretty sure it's the mixer. Let's see here. Mixer. Oh, we are almost out of imps again. Yeah, scrambled eggs. There's our eggs. There is our salt. This should start going in here. The only problem, of course, here is that I need to turn those into inputs. And then we do the same trick that we did before. Whoa, no, not breaking it. That's not how we do it. We just tell it that we want things to go one direction, and that way it can go back into our bus. That's what we want to see have happen. Everything going into the bus. Okay, mixer, are you not getting power? Is that your damage? There, now you're getting power. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So you're mixing up my scrambled eggs. That should go back into here. That's going to loop through here. That's going to go back into the bus. Now, where are we going to assemble all of this stuff? We are going to need tomato sauce again. So we probably want something that's going to be like close to this one because it's almost exactly the same ingredients, right? The alternative is, I guess we could go up with it because we already need to go up with it. So we could put this here. This one, we could change the recipe over to those. And now we just need to make sure that these are going up and over and around and through wherever we want those to go. So for instance, we want to add some more filters here. Let's make sure that this is going in here. Let's make sure that this is going out here. And this will loop through here. Good. Now, so tomato sauce is already coming in, right? That was the easiest thing in the world for us. Let's make sure that power is going into this. Okay, and then we can just start sorting through all of these different ingredients. So this one, we know that fried tortillas should be going here, but we can also tell it that fried tortillas need to go up. We can temporarily remove this so that we can sort that. There we go. So up and to the left. Up and to the left. Perfect. All right, so those are going to go in here next. Tell those to go up instead. Let's pull our peppers and say that peppers need to go up. Okay, so of the things we are still missing, we are going to have to deal with our spider eggs. So those should all be coming up into here, and they're getting caught. That's what we want. We can tell these that they can go left. Good. Although what you're seeing is what I'm seeing, right? This becomes our catch-all, so everything goes left except for the things that we are using to make tomato sauce. So those should go in here, and I'm just double checking that these don't need bailiffs. These don't need bailiffs. Okay, they don't. That's all good. Fried eggs. Oh, that's our problem. Our fried eggs are not coming back out. Let's make sure that those are happening. Okay, fried eggs should now stop bouncing. Yeah, okay, so fried eggs are going into the system. That's what we want to see. This is going through the system. So this should be able to get scrambled eggs now. Let's send those up. Scrambled eggs are coming in here. And then the last and trickiest part of this is honestly just going to be to get this bailiff going. We probably also should start making more tomato sauce. I think we can handle it with just the one here, but you never know. So let's get a little bit more of this going in. The easiest way to do that is we'll just add a second miner, honestly. No need to fuss over all of the details of this when we can just do it the easy way. All right, so copy, paste. Let's get our pipes going after we do this. And then we need some power going to that. All right, and then that should start flowing through the system here. All right, last but not least, here is our nutmeg coming in. Let's make sure that that's going up. And now that that's coming in, that's coming in, that's coming in, that should be all of our recipes done. And now if it does come back out, let's make sure it does. Yeah, I see something coming out. Then momentarily we should have everything being fed to our monster. We just need to wait for all of our various ingredients to catch up here because, again, you do have to have a constant stream of each of them for it to count as being completed. Okay, so while we're feeding our monster the last little bit here, I think we're learning some important lessons about how we can use a main bus effectively in this game. It's pretty similar to Factorio in that way, but being able to split off particular items in a way that we can easily loop them back in is starting to be a little bit of a problem. So establishing that pattern early is really going to pay off for us. And again, that pattern that we have decided on is to basically have a catch-all that pushes things through. I think that works really, really, really well. And then having a double loopback like this works perfectly. So basically we have a catch-all here, and that's grabbing our items. And if you need to peel off an item, you sort it up and down. Up so it can go back into your main bus, and down so that it goes into the machine that you're doing the processing. Then that machine can put those processed items back into the bus before where it started, and then you always have it available as you move downstream. So this works really, really, really well for what we are trying to achieve here, and I expect we'll be doing more of this in the future. Here it got a little spaghetti-y, and I think we can do a better job of that now that we've understood this particular pattern, which I think is going to be the key. All right, so I think we finally got everything back on track here. The main problem that we were running into is a multiplexing bottleneck. So what we did here instead to solve that is make multiple machines making each ingredient. So here we have 3 different mixers making tortillas. Each of those is going into an oven, and then that gets split. 2/3 of it is going to be fried into chips. 1/3 of it is going to go up so that it goes as a regular tortilla to be used. And of course, that means we also had to multiplex all of our production all the way back down here with our void matter. So we have double eggs because we have 2 egg dishes, and then we have 3 bones because we have 3 bone dishes. And this probably could be even more efficient than what I've got set up right here. For instance, these could be going directly into their own grinder, and it didn't need to be this complicated. If I'd known from the start that I was going to have multiple needs, then I would have done this a little differently, but we do have at least dedicated bailiff going on for the right-hand side. So this is something that could be much more elegant, but just to be aware, we do need 1 for each of the different things that we are making because that is the speed at which those ingredients are being made. So we are now counting down to the final minute here when all of our dishes will be done, and hopefully after that, our monster will be happy. And there we go, another satisfied monster. That's what we like to see. Perfect. 2 stars, beast fed, and 1,000 dinners served, and we died right at the last minute, but hey, you know, that's what happens. Okay, great. And so that completes yet another level of Snacktorio. Well, more and more we're starting to see familiar old patterns from our other games, notably Factorio in this game popping up over and over again. So we are getting a little bit more challenge here. We are having to do a lot more refactoring to make our base work well, but now we're finally starting to learn some of those really critical patterns to deal with overlapping between different ingredients. One thing I'm learning very, very rapidly here is a single directional belt overall for our main bus works really well. A single main bus works really well, but we are probably going to have the complexity ramped up once we have to start separating out our ingredients a little bit more fancily than what we're doing right now. But we're picking up those patterns as we go, and it is slow going, but we're getting there. For now, that's the end of this episode. Hey, if you like what we're doing here, please do give a like on this video. If you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing to the channel. We play a lot of building games, a lot of cozy games. That's what we do around here. And yeah, we'd love to have more folks coming back for it. But for now, we're going to call that the end of the episode. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.